Well, that was timed perfectly. Hey, cheers. Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome everyone that's coming on, which is who's here already then? So Mr. G, Any Magic Knight, Prince Phase, Acmafin, Steps, Raise 78, Quadrasoul, Zerix Becky. Hi guys. Hopefully you can hear me clear enough because I have got my aircon on full in here at the moment. It's really warm. That's how warm it is in my room at the moment, so I'm hoping I can keep this a bit cooler. Thank you for the host, Andy. ZX Becky. Z80. Oh, right, for ZX Becky, not for me. Hearing me better than ever. Okay, that's weird. Cool. As long as you can't hear me. I mean, I can barely hear myself. Maybe why you can hear me because I'm speaking a bit louder than normal, maybe. Hopefully the music isn't too loud as well. I saw a Twitter post from Lukash saying that to do with the Twitch copyright takedowns, and he was saying his playlists should be fine. So I picked one of his YouTube ones. I think he meant his Spotify ones, but I haven't had time to find one of those. So I've just gone with one of his YouTube ones. Hopefully it's suitable. There you go. Hopefully that's not too loud. Just this one. So what I wanted to do tonight, on the last stream, we started looking at sprites. I don't remember how to build now. Switching between the different programs gets confusing. So we had this sprite moving around, but we had a problem when it went this way because of the way that the sprites flip. And I realized that I probably need to rethink my sprite routine, because what I'm doing at the moment is there's 40 sprites and I'm using the first 10 definitions to create these 16 by 16 pixel sprites. Can you up the text a little bit? Yep. There we go. Just get really big when I do that. I can deal with that, that's fine. Yeah, so each one of these sprites is made up of 4 Game Boy sprites. So we're going to have 10 sprites total. Now, the original game only used 8 sprites. There was no multiplexing, so it should be plenty for what I need to do. But the way that I was trying to get the definitions to work was to use the top left sprite to define where the rest went, but that meant when you reverse directions, actually it all goes wrong. So do use that against me in the future. Okay. Let me just move that mic a little bit. It's just a little bit in the way. God, I'm glowing a lot on that stream. Let me sort my cam out. It's a bit too bright. Go. The thing is, when the camera's not very bright, it picks up the rapid flashing of the lights at the back. So the way those RGB lights work is they flash between various colors very quickly. So you can kind of see the flickering of the lights a little bit. So yeah, it's, as I said, okay, it's currently 29.2 in here, although that's in front of my keyboard. So let me put that over here, which is more in the Airstream. But it is very warm in this room at the moment. Yeah, 20. Yeah, it's ridiculous in here. I'm also drinking Galaxy hot chocolate today. I've got no wine. My stomach's feeling a bit funny, so the window is open. The window's open, and the air conditioner's jammed in the gap. So I would hope that it cools down fairly soon. But thankfully, the joys of RTX noise cancelling mean you don't hear the aircon, so that's good. Okay, right. Let's have a look how we're going to do this. So we've got this shadow sprite memory. This is where we need to copy the data to, but we can actually use. There's only 160 bytes used here, so if I put 160 bytes there, that's actually the sprite data. And then what we can use is we'll call it meta sprites. And this will be the definitions of 10 times 2 by 2. Well, let's go 16 by 16 pixel sprites. And that will only be 40 bytes, but we'll fill it all the way up to the 256 because we do need to keep everything here aligned properly. I think we need everything up to here, I think, aligned. So I'm just going to put a row of these in. Keep both aligned. 2 pages. There we go. Yeah, it does get really warm in this room. I mean, it doesn't help that I've only got one kind of door stroke window. It's like a patio kind of door window in here, and it faces basically the afternoon sun, and it's got a big black curtain in front of it, so it tends to trap the heat quite quickly. And then on the other side of the room, I've got this, which is obviously pumping out quite a lot. So the reason I got that thermometer in here is because I had it at the back of my computer just to see how much heat it was pumping out. Around the back of there, it's about 40 degrees. So this acts like a heater. So it's a constant battle between the aircon and the heating. Hey, Furry. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to use this area here for actually storing the sprite data, and then our build sprites, which is the one that builds up the sprites from the smaller ones, is going to convert the data in here into data in here instead. We'll use these tables because these tables, something Andy suggested actually on the last stream, I think, and they refer to offsets for. Find the actual sprite data now. Doesn't remember any of the palettes. Okay, fine. It doesn't really matter. But they refer to the offsets in here as well, so you can see each character is made up of 4 sprites, and it refers to the offsets for each character. So if we're walking right, then these are the offsets. If we're walking left, then these are the offsets. Yeah, I mean it's it's pretty much the same in the whole room. It's like half a degree cooler over there, that side, away from any of the heat because the screen generates quite a bit of heat as well. So okay, so the first thing to do is to have a look at the player function. And at the moment this is copying into shadow RAM here, shadow OAM RAM here. We need this now to copy into meta sprite RAM, and we'll use the same format as well. So I just need to remember what that format is. So let me bring up I want to see Gameboy Color OAM. I did have a really good site for this, and I forgot what it was now. Is it that one? Nope. Memory map. I think it's YX pointer attributes, but I need to check it. I don't remember these things yet at all. Yep, don't remember. Maybe it was in here. Oh yeah, here we go. So YX tile number flags. Okay, so let's mark these just on here so I know what they are. So this is Y, this will be X, this will be tile number. This will be the base tile number. So basically the tile number for the top left, if we were walking right. And the flags will define whether or not it's flipped or not. And so they need to go into Meta Sprite OAM, not into Shadow OAM. I don't know why it's doing that. Plus 4 times 4. I'm not sure why it's using more than one. Oh, this was a dummy dummy sprite. I'll get rid of that one. Put these down here instead. Tile number flags. Okay, so if I run this now, I shouldn't see anything. So at the moment we've got 2 sprites on screen. I shouldn't see anything of them. Oh, I don't know what happened then. That's strange. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that as well, but my screen completely went off then. My HDMI matrix went down. You did? Okay, that's weird. No idea what caused that. So I've been looking a lot into the Mega 65 as well. And I think what I'm going to do when I get one is we'll learn. You got smoke. Oh, you got. Okay, maybe the capture went. I think I'm gonna learn how to use it completely on stream. So I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do any pre-research, kind of pre-coding for it. I'm just gonna do it all on stream, and I think it will probably be the Thursday stream because I'm struggling with what to do on Thursdays. So that would give us 3 different systems, 3 nights a week. So I can't do a Wednesday stream as well. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. It'd be too much for me, I think. Mega 65 when it's out. We may do the odd dissect, but we might do dissects using the Mega 65. So the Mega 65 is, for those who don't know, it's a Commodore 65 compatible computer. So it actually has 3 modes. It has C64 mode, so much like the C128, you hold down it's called the Mega key on this. You hold that down and it boots into C64. You have C65 mode, which is the default mode that it boots into. And then you have Mega 65 mode, which is basically, it is still in the C65 mode, but it's some extensions to that, including like 48 megahertz CPU, the VIC-4 instead of the VIC-3, 8 bits per pixel bit planes, and separate 64 by 64 sprite, 16 color sprites as well, with 256 color palettes for each. Mega 65 definitely can do lunar scrolling. I think what I want to do though is I want to do an arcade conversion. I think I want to take something like Outrun, something that we would never have seen done properly on an 8-bit machine, and try and do an arcade perfect like a close to perfect arcade conversion of it. And I think Outrun would be good because it's fast. It's got some nice techniques that really you need specialized hardware for. And so it's kind of interesting to do that on an 8-bit machine. Okay, so this is setting the player sprite. So what we need to do now is we just need to build these shadow definitions from these as well. We kind of had that code already in here, sort of, but I'm going to rewrite it because I'm not that happy with how that works. So I'm going to go through and do this again. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to copy the data that's in the meta sprites into the shadow AOM. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have a destination, which is going to be this one here. And then this, which is going to reset each time. And then this counter, yeah, which can stay there. And it's going to loop to this point here. So basically what we're going to do, and I've completely forgotten if I can decrease B. I can't remember at all. GB. Yes. Just got to look up the instructions to see if I can actually do that. No, okay, so I have to do that on wait, decrease. I can do decrease on A. I just think it's showing. Oh yeah, I can see it there. Oh, decrease on register 8. Oh, I can do it. Okay, I can do it up there. Decrease B. Jump relative if. Oh, can I do negative? What's the jumps in here as well? Timeout? What do you mean? Oh, timeout on the command. Okay. Yeah, the PC Engine is the Hue 6 something or other. I can't remember what it is. It's very similar to the 6502. But the thing with the PC Engine is it kind of cheats a bit because it has lots and lots of 16-bit opcodes. So that's why it has an advantage over most 8-bit machines. But the Mega 65 similarly has some. It doesn't have all of the ones that the PC Engine has, but it has very, very similar kind of specs to that, but higher resolution and better sprites and better sound. It has quad SID chips in it, so it would be interesting to see. Thank you. Jump not 0, jump is 0, jump if jump if S is reset, jumps if PV. I don't even know what they are. I need to look them up in here. It's easier. Yeah, jump carry clear. Oh god. Do you know what? This is what this can tell me straight away. Condition. Okay, so the conditions, parity odds, sign positive, sign negative. So PNM is what I want. Yeah. So I want jump if sign positive. So jump P. Why is that not registering? Please tell me that's actually. Or is it PO, like it says? So lets me do that. Doesn't let me relative jump. Yeah, because I want to go to loop if it's non-negative. Oh, actually, I just need non-zero because I can count down from 10. That's fine. That'll do. But I do need to work out the negative stuff as well. because that'll make it a lot easier for other stuff later on. So this is going to do this entire loop here 10 times. And each time we need to reset the... oh no, we need to reset... we need to reset the shadow wrap, not the meta sprite wrap. This needs to increment all the time. Yeah, JP is absolute, JR is relative. And that's the other thing that the Mega 65 has. So the Mega 65 uses a 65 CEO2, or a variant of it called the 45 CESP10, which is a 4510. It's basically, why the number's lower, I don't know, but it's basically 6510 with additional instructions. And they have this, which is a relative jump branch always. So it's a branch that's always taken. And also that as well. Which is a branch to subroutine, so it's a branch always that comes back on an RTS. So it looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to using it. I'm kind of tempted to download the emulator and play with it, but I really want to do the entire learning on stream so you guys can see the process as well. And hopefully I'll do the entire code on the machine itself as well, because it's a really good mechanical keyboard. I'm hoping that there is some kind of built-in IDE that I can use, because I'd much rather use a decent IDE than some crappy one. So, I mean, if not, it's fine. I'll use Visual Studio Code or something, but I would like to use a proper built-in assembler if I can. Okay, so we're going to load information from here, and the information is going to be the Y, X, the tile number, and the flags. Well, that's the order we're going to read things. So this reset to start. Meta sprites, and actually this needs to be done 4 times, not 10, because we're not doing it per sprite, we're doing it per quarter of the sprite. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to load into the accumulator the value that's currently at HLI, which is the Y position. Now the Y position is never going to change because we're not doing any vertical flipping, so the Y positions of these will be perfectly fine. We probably are going to need another table though. So this is, let's rename these to left tile table, sprite tile number table. Then there will be right Y offset table. And that's actually going to be the same as left offset table as well. It's not going to matter. So let's just call it Y offset table. And this is just going to be offsets for these sprites. So it's just going to be like that, nice and simple. Yeah, in fact, it's getting warmer in here. I think I've reached the point where the aircon's actually probably generating more heat than it's dissipating. And the X offset table is going to be different for right and left as well, so we need to do the same here as we have up there. So this is going to be, so if we're facing right, it'll be 0.8, 0.8, and if we're facing left, that is going to be, let me think about this. So if our sprite starts in this corner, then it is just the reverse actually. It's just 8, 0, 8, 8, 0. Okay. So let's do it just for the right side first, and then we can work out how to flip it if we need to flip it. I think is the best way to do this, because then we can test it in 2 stages. Atari 2600 stream when? I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the Jaguar though. So I've got a couple of games coming for it. I've got Cybermorph, which is the one you get packaged with it. Tempest 2000, which I'm hoping I will get before the weekend. I would like to play that this weekend. And then I've also got Flashback coming for it, and I've not played Flashback since God knows when, a long time ago, Mega Drive probably. So I'm excited to play that again on a slightly different machine as well. Oh God, I don't know why I'm drinking hot chocolate. It's this hot in here, and I'm drinking hot chocolate. It's insane. All right, let's work through these then. So this is our Y position. How do we do this? Actually, thinking about it, because I've got no index registers. Oh, this is tricky actually. I'm not going to use B. Instead, what I'm going to do, let's store that in. I think we've got a. What's that one? Like that, and then we'll decrement that value. I just want to see if that compiles. I've got a funny feeling that's not going to compile. Yeah. So just that. I can decrease a memory address directly. No, I can decrease a register directly. Okay, so okay, should compile hopefully. I need to fix my build job as well, so it actually crashes. Okay, that's good. That works. That's worries. This CPU is, yeah, it is, isn't it? It's just, I mean, that is such an annoying thing to have to do. And no index registers as well. So what I'm actually going to have to do here is I'm going to have to grab the table value here and put it in VC. Right, so like that. So this becomes Y table. Just put some spaces to make it a bit easier to read. I'm going to load that value into the accumulator, and then I'm going to load that into no. I'm going to add the contents of BC. Oh my God, this is stupid. This is so stupid. This is freaking annoying. Okay, basically what I need to do is I need to copy the data from in this here, the 40 bytes here, into the 40 bytes here. So I can do that directly, but I need to make changes based on this table, on these tables. Let's use half a Z80. Yeah, God damn it, what were they thinking? Okay, so it's just really, it's not that easy to think in Z80. 6502 is so much easier to think in. It might have less registers, but it just works better. Okay, so the end result is we're going to store the value in here. no, sorry, in here, like so, and then we're going to increment to the next. This is just to get the Y result. So we're going to grab the address of this table, and then we kind of need to add the value that's in here. Which means I do need this to count forwards. I can't count it backwards. Okay. Which means I then need to compare accumulator to 4. Okay. Now, is this going to be aligned? No, not necessarily. This might not be aligned, so how the frick do I align this then? It doesn't help that the assembler is terrible. That's the other thing as well. I got so used to using Kick assembler. Okay, so should I just do all the Y's first? No, it's not gonna. Oh no. Think about this. If I did all the Y's first. No. Oh god, my brain isn't working properly. That's why I have wine. Okay, let's just ignore the offset table for now. Let's just get it actually working, and then we'll add the offsets in. So we would load the value from there and increment it, store it in the new location and increment that, and then we would do the same for the X, do the same for the tile, and the same for the flags as well. And then when all that's done, wait. This is just doing it for once, right? Hang on. Fucking hell. Just making a mess of this. Right, okay. So ignore that. That's our looping character. Taking our shadow ramp, yes. We're doing the first 10 sprites. So this is just the top part of one sprite. Let me get rid of that loop. Right. Let's see what the hell happens if I do that. Okay, so we have one sprite that is moving around. Okay, that looks correct as well. I'm just not remembering which direction I'm facing in, but what's that? CPU. Oh yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen that. I don't find it that easy to read though, unfortunately. I find this page. This is the page I've been using mostly, which is the RGBDS. The RGBDS kind of instruction set. It's just a bit easier for me to kind of match that bit, but mainly because in the CPU manual as well, some of the commands look slightly different, like LDI and LDD instead of LDHLI and stuff like that. So I like to just keep the RGBDS one because it matches the thing. What's one's not supported? Well, I kind of know what's not supported. What the problem isn't not knowing what's supported. The problem is that it's freaking because of the things that aren't supported. It's trying to figure out what the hell to use. Let's find the maps. The maps might be handy though. Okay, so this is drawing one tile in the top corner, and so we would have to do this 10 at a time, and this would draw all 10 sprites now. I can confirm that by putting some code back in for the other player, for the dummy player that we had in position, which was this. Still haven't seen one sprite here. So is that routine running 10 times? It is running 10 times, but then it's just copying to the same sprite all the times. Would be that. This should be an outer loop here. There is going to be 2 loops. Okay, so we've got 2 sprites appearing on screen, which is good. That means that the top left side of this is working. Then to do the other portions of this, I need to the outer loop is actually what's going to reset and change some values in here. So I'm going to create another index here. Oops. Call it, oh my god. I'm going to call it sprite index 2. I'm going to call that, I'll leave that as, because I don't know where else I'm using that. I think I was just using it here, but I just need to check. So our outer loop is going to be this one, which is going to work 4 times. It's going to start at 0 though. And this is going to increment. Such a long-winded piece of code, really is. Okay, cool. Right, so this should happen 40 times basically, one for each sprite now that we're going to use. Hey Dom, welcome to the stream, dude. Okay, right. So, given that, how do we draw the next sprite? So we need to deal with the offset. So let's start with the Y offset. So we've kept BC free, so we can use BC, which is what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to load the Y offset table. I'm going to add a number to C, which is the lower byte of here, and that number is going to be the contents of this. And then here I can add to the accumulator the contents of BC. Let's see if that actually draws double height sprites, even if the tiles are wrong there. Okay, no, it hasn't. Okay, so why that might be. So resetting the meta sprite position, correct. Let's find this in the debugger. That's probably the easiest way to have a look what's going on here. Branch on sign has been removed. Yeah, I don't need it there. I can use non-zero for both of these now. This one counts down from 10 to 0, so it actually goes 10 to 1. But we don't use this as an index. This is just a counter. Oh, branch on sign has been removed. Okay, cool. God, that's annoying. What? Oh. Thanks for the resubs, Blood. 2 months, awesome. Thank you very much. Shimmer, shimmer. There you go, proper shimmer. How many hardware sprites? That dog has half A page on box removed. Okay. It's a lot of pages, so I'll go through it at some point. I might need to get the get a highlighter and go through this and just highlight in red the stuff that's not being used. Oh, page 7. Oh, right at the beginning. Oh, okay. Let's see. Different opcodes been removed. Jumps on the sign flag. I mean, that's not good. Don't damage books. Well, it's my book. I'm never going to sell it. It's going to be for me. It used to be for a Simon Taylor, whoever that was. Or maybe what I do need to do, because I am going to be using quite a lot of different instruction sets, is up on my wall here is just put some opcode tables. And yeah, put some opcode tables up there, and then I can see what I'm using on what. That's probably the best way of doing this, actually. Or get one of those mugs with all the opcodes on it. That'd be good. All right, let's see where that's running. So build sprites, which is finding all this now. Can I search in here? Yes. Okay, that's good. Build sprites.loop. So we're looking at 0528. This runs. So let's go into the debugger. Scroll down to 0528 and let's have a look what happens when it gets here. It's usually the easiest way of seeing what's going on with these things. Okay, so we've got to this position, which is this bit here. So what we're actually interested in is this point onwards, I think. And then skipping through this. So the first time this runs, DE should contain C00, which it does. Then after this has run once, this should contain C028. So run it again. Except it doesn't. HL now contains C209. Okay. All right, let's try another breakpoint. Let's put a breakpoint in. Let's put a breakpoint in here. Okay, D is C04, so we should see this go up 4 at a time, in line with HL here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it doesn't get any bigger, unfortunately. So it's probably very, very hard to see. So I'll just quickly run through this. So run is F9. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it resets. The destination resets. So this is being reset. It shouldn't be being reset. So maybe this is not working. Oh, of course it's not working because that should be 2. There we go. There you go. This is where the debuggers are useful to spot things like that. Still only got one sprite on screen though, so it's still wrong. Oh god. It's going to be a long road, so I'll be glad to get onto the Mega 65 and actually do some proper coding. None of this Z80 crap. I definitely couldn't code in this all the time. I'll do a game, just because why not? But then after that, no, don't want to do any more. Let's put it there actually. No, destination keeps resetting again all the time. Sprite index 2, Sprite index 2, yeah. So it does 10 and then this immediately fails. What is that? Let's try that. Maybe I'll accumulate to 4. I need to find this as well, don't I? Sprite template index 2. Oh, that's not actually showing up in here. That means I've got an error somewhere else. Oh my god. Of course. Stupid processor. So this was right. I had it right. It's just stupid processor. I can only actually add things. Yeah, I do need to make that work. Still feel that's an error, yeah. 42. Okay, similar. Sprites 42. How is that not? How is that an error? Let's close all these windows. Can I not do that, or is it just that to do? Is it implied that it's the accumulator, maybe? Yeah, I think it's implied that it's the accumulator. No, still wrong. 42. No brackets, really? And then how does it know to add the content? Because brackets is for the contents, right? Because if I have a look in, what's it? Find another example of that. I mean, let's try it. Won't hurt to try it, that's for sure. No, still got an error. Line 45, same place. Oh no, it's. So now I can't do that apparently. No, just gonna go straight to my list again. Add accumulator. So I can either add the con. Oh, you are fucking kidding me! Seriously? So I can either add to the accumulator the contents of a register. A number or the byte pointer. I can't do a memory address directly. Okay. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. Yeah, this CPU fucking sucks. Okay. Right, so just need to rethink this. So I've got my offset table here. I need to add the value that's in here to here. So I think what I can do is I can load A with that, add A with the contents of C, and then load C with the contents of A, which also means thanks for the resub. Thanks for the sub, McGeezer 75. appreciated, dude. Okay, so I think that's fine now. The problem is that this isn't going to work. So I think I'm going to comment the shit out of this because I'm really not happy with the way this works. So increment table offset by Sprites index 2. So now BC contains the new index. So we need to load the accumulator with the contents of BC. Is that right? Please tell me I can do that. If I can't do that, I'm going to scream. Right, I can do that. Okay, good. It's okay, right, I can do that. And then hopefully I can do this. Or can I only do load HLI? Please let me do add. Okay, I can't do add HLI, but I can increment that, so. No. Sprites 41, the value is not 8-bit. Okay, that's because that doesn't do that. Cool, it's compiled. What the fuck? Okay. What the fuck? Oh god, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of swearing from me while I do this. I'm gonna take a quick break in a second, some fresh air, and rethink this. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna grab a cold drink because the hot chocolate's really not done anything to cool me down. And the temperature in the room has remained at a ridiculously high temperature. And I need to figure out how to do this. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, I'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes, guys. Be right back. Right, let's see if caffeine does the trick. 68k beats them all to death. I've not done 68k, so I can't really comment on that, but 6502 is definitely preferable to this. I've got to say though, the Mega 65 looks like it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be super easy to code for. Okay, right. So what am I doing wrong here? So add to the accumulator the contents of HL. HL is this value here. So if I just did this, and just ignore all of that, basically, does it do what it was doing before? Okay, no. So something weird is going on here. Because if I do that, oh no, it's something else. Something weird is going on. What have I done? Also, the music seems to have stopped, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that's another thing that you have in 65 CEO2. You have pushing registers to the stack as well. Oh, Oh god, what have I done? Something has completely broken this. I can't think what. Thank you for the follow, Stiffneck Jim. Welcome to the stream, dude. I saw you on Chizzy's stream, actually. So welcome along. You're watching a car crash at the moment. I have no idea why that is not working. I feel like I've broken something somewhere. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do the thing I said I should never do, which is do some comparisons and get them. And I don't have it on here. Why don't I have it on here? Have I done it all in here? Wow, have I not been committed? I've not been committing. Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. Oh, man. Hazemaker will never let me live it down. Well, I didn't do it anyway. I don't know what I've done. Because this should work, right? This is the original code. This is... I feel like I've broken something else somewhere because it's completely wrong. Something really weird is going on and I don't know what. I deleted something up here? No. Let's go to the outer loop. Maybe it's to do with this temp index or something. Okay, right. So why does that suddenly not work? Jump if not 0 out loop. So this should only happen 4 times. Out loop is here, which just resets HL, doesn't affect DE. So it should just do it 4 times. DE should be implemented 10 times. Oh, I know. I know why. Okay, I think I'm just having kind of a coding breakdown. Swap my headphones. I still haven't got my new headphones. I think that's right. I'm going to replay your alert just to make sure, Stiffneck. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, right, so this should work and not crash. Yeah, it's pretty good. Am I pushing in the loop? I was tempted. But what I realized is I just made a stupid mistake. So I don't actually need to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to check if I do that this works. Should get the same result. Which I do, which is good. And that means now if I do this, just that, it should still work. Yeah, and I get my little sprite offsets. Cool. Bloody hell. Alright. It was just me being stupid with this outer loop. Normally I'd have like an index that I'd use for this, but can't use indexing, so I was so happy when it started. Yeah. Alright, cool. Right, so basically I just need to do this for X as well. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it below. Change this to X. Still going to use this same value. This is now going to be X offset table. I'm going to use right offset table for now. This will change depending on, so there'll be some additional code here in a minute. And that should give the X value as well. Right, so hopefully this will give us a 2x2 block of sprites. Which it does, cool. Don't know why there's a sprite over here. Oh, it's because... okay, we need to make sure that sprites that are off the screen here don't get shown as well. That's fine, we can deal with that in a minute. You only should watch Twitch streams so I can gamble on poker hands. Yeah, I have said I need to get some gambling on this stream. I've just not got around to it yet. So we can do the same with the tile number as well. And the flags will remain the same, so we don't need to do anything on the flags. But tile number I do need to change, and this will be based on this table here. This will be, yeah, that's it, really. So hopefully now this should give us, yeah, right, okay, we're back to where we were before now. How many times challenge takes for I do get really annoyed when code doesn't work. I'm quite funny to work with in an office because you can just hear swearing coming from my table quite often, so can't hear that. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, so that's working. So what I need to do now is, based on these flags, I need to change these values in here. So part of me thinks maybe we should do the flags first. And just for this kind of this OAM, we just have the flags first. Then I don't have to jiggle things around at all. So that would mean in here we need to change this to 0. This would be 1, 2, 3, like that. So just make sure that works again. I think the most of it is just kind of getting my head around the it's Hazy's start music. that's kind of funny. Where's Hayes? I wonder if this wakes Hayes up. Who knows? Maybe that is what I do. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to load the flag value and store it. So I'm going to call this 10th flag. Because even though I'm loading it first here, I can't store it directly in here. So I will increase the HL here, correct. But I will store it at Sprite 10th flag. Because then I can use this to check other things, and then right at the end I can store it and increment the values. So this would reload a cool. Cool. So where do I need it? I need it here. So now, can I test one bit? I'm sure I saw something about testing individual bits, or what am I thinking? Might be thinking of another architecture. Oh no, I can set individual bits. Oh, what's that one? No, that sets a bit, swaps a bit, test a bit. There we go. Test bit U3 in register R8. So I can do bits. How do I do that then? Let's look up how that command works. No, it looks like it does work. It's in the command set. I just need to find how it actually works. So test bit B in register. So it's bit. Okay. Okay. So what bit am I looking for? I'm looking for bit X flip 5, so bit 5. So I do bit 5, comma A. What does that set? So that will set the 0 flag if it's set. Okay, so jump non-zero. Doing it on the Y offset, I should be doing it on the X offset here. So I'm actually going to load the right offset first. Then I'm going to test this value. If it's non-zero, no, if it's 0, jump to left, jump here, and then left and plus then this just changes basically to left. Okay, cool. Right, and then that is basically the same for the tiles. Has it actually done? I don't think it did anything though. Well, let's go into the assembler and have a look into the debugger. So that is round about. Where is it actually? So round about 0467. So let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so loop is 0449. So that's this bit here. This is what I want to check here. Is this actually happening? So run that through to that. Okay, right. So the value we have in the accumulator is 0. So jump of 0 to 0467. So I should see this jump to 0467. Except it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it does so. Okay. And now the bit is definitely set at that point. Why is it loading from that address? Oh no, that's... Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's correct. It's because we need to do 10 sprites, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one will be... Okay, so it's bits. Oh well, it's not going to show as reverse because I'm not holding down the flip here, am I? Thank you for the follow, LSG Dave. Welcome to the stream, dude. Alright, let me... Oh my god, how many windows have I got opened? Have we got a player facing direction? Player attribute. Okay, so let's set that player attribute then. Where's the player attribute set out here? Okay. So I'm just going to force it to flip. So I'm going to load the accumulator with what's the other bits in here? Oh, I don't really care what the other bits are. Let's just do it like and then load that into I just want to make sure it's facing the other way to begin with, which it's not doing. It's a bit frustrating. If I set the wrong bit, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go. Okay, cool. Right, now I can have a look in the debugger. At 044E roughly. Right, 046C. Yeah, the Saturday stream is very much a drinking stream. I've actually forgotten where we'd got to on Saturday, what we needed to do. I think we'd got the transition working right, hadn't we? So, we're going to do the bonus, going to get the transition working for the bonus on Saturday. And then we need to start thinking about graphics and sound and stuff and updating it. Okay, so there's a bit, let's check that. Okay, so play that through. So emulator is 2.0, so I would expect the Z flag to get set here. Actually, it doesn't show any of the flags in here. That's a bit annoying. Can I expand it maybe and see them? No. Or is it? Oh, it's these here. So step through. Of course, the 0 won't be set because it is correct. Okay, is it just the tile number that's wrong here, maybe? Because it looks like it's skipping the code correctly. That bit 5 is doing exactly what I want it to do. So that is correct. I think the problem is that the tile table is wrong. Left tile, right tile, right tile, left tile. Well, what happens if I switch these over? Does it actually, if I just change that to left, does it display correctly the other direction? Breaks. Oh, it's like it's not doing the flip on that tile. That's the problem. And that's probably because this one isn't working for some reason. Or it might be that tile table. I think it might be wrong, or the X offsets are wrong or something. X offset table. Okay, I'll have a look in a minute. See what happens when I do this. How he's selecting the table, I'll show you in a sec. Yeah, so it's fine that way, not the other way. So I think it's not to do with because it's selecting the right sprites. Actually, no, it's not selecting the right sprites, is it? The sprite table is incorrect. Yeah, it's the sprite table that's incorrect. Okay. So this is how I'm selecting it. So I load in one direction first, left table. Then I check the flag here in the temp flags. If it's set, then I actually change the table to point to this one instead. So it's picking one of these two tables, depending on that value, but it seems to only pick one of them and not both of them. F2. Okay, I want to make sure these tables are working. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that just to make sure that it's actually picking from these two tables correctly. So yeah, so you see the distance is changing. So when I go right, it's 8 apart. When I go left, it's 48 apart. So maybe what I need to do is have -8. And now it's picking the wrong tables because I've got the tables the wrong way around. So actually, I don't think I need this second table. I don't think I need this one. Or should I say I only need one table? I don't need two. Because I think that is enough. Yeah. Yep, there we go. It's perfect. Yeah. Thank you. I do listen to you, Andy. I do listen. Cool. Right. Okay. So we've got flippable 2x2 tiles now. It always walks that way unless I pull that way, so I need to fix that. You're having 2 points up. I should make a kind of code help, a code help score table as well, because you guys do help out quite a lot with that stuff. And it'd be cool to have a little leaderboard for you guys for that. Right, so there's two things I want to do. We'll do the sprite work first. So if a sprite is at position, its X position is less than 7, then none of these sprites should be adjusted by the table at all, which is the X position stuff. So because this is how we make sure the sprites are always on this system. At least I've not found a way to turn them off. There doesn't seem to be a disable in there anyway. Let me just have a look. No, they're either, yeah, there's nothing to say that they're not drawn. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use let's have a look, in this bit here. So before we go into this routine, I'm going to compare this value to 8. And if the carry is clear, so it's not, if no carry set, then I'm going to jump to here. Which will just automatically store that value. Actually, it's not if it's less than 8, it's if it's 0. Yeah, exactly. Because, yeah, there you go. It's hidden there. If a sprite is at position 0, there's exactly 8 pixels down the side here in sprite space. So sprite space actually starts just off screen. Oops, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it, and obviously you can't. Sprite space starts just off here, same as it does on the C64. On the C64, it's exactly 1 sprite wide, and it's the same on here. But because we're building up a meta sprite out of 4 smaller sprites, we need to make sure that if any of the any of if the top left sprite is off screen, then it doesn't get displayed at all. And so it will disappear, and that means all the other sprites won't display as well, which is correct. Okay, so the other thing I want to do now is get it to remember which direction I was pulling at. So at the moment, the direction I'm facing is always going to be that way, unless I'm pulling left. So I need to get it to remember that now. So we do have this player attribute here, this kind of block. So I think this value needs to be kind of set, not reset every time. I think it is. So let's have a look. Well, actually, it looks like it should be remembering it, but it doesn't seem to be. So if we're pulling left, okay, something resetting it somewhere. Set player sprite. Attribute. Oh, okay, it shouldn't be resetting it. Let's see where that is in memory. We can go and have a look at it. So it's at C20A in memory. Let's close this other window down. Let's close them all down because it's actually wrong. Good night, Stiffnet Jim. Okay, C20. Just be way down here. Is this value here? Okay. Yeah, it seems to reset whenever I let go. So it's like if nothing happens, then it resets. So I think it is something to do with this code because it's the only place it's written to, it looks like. So yeah, so we write to it here, we write to it here as well. We write to it in player in it. Can get rid of this one now, don't need that. Don't write to it anywhere else. Who's going to have a go at this? Change your mind. Why? It's a learning process, that's all it is. I'm pretty sure if I did this constantly for a couple of months, it would sink in. But I mean, obviously at the moment it's not sinking in. It will eventually. But I must admit, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do another game after this. I don't think. I am really tempted to do Lunar or Luma as well. So it is really frustrating. Like it's so unnecessarily complex to do simple things you can do in 2 or 3 lines. Is that being called every frame? Maybe. Let's get rid of that. That can't be being called every frame, surely not. No, it's not. No. I'm just going to cancel it out because I just got a weird feeling about this. I don't know. Something is definitely making it think it's going that direction when it's not. I don't know if it's a weird control thing, maybe. Can I see the controls? That's something I can... There's a system info there. No, it doesn't look like there is anything to see what's being pressed. Okay, that's fine. Status bar. What do you mean status bar? Where's that? Oh, game controller, configure game controller. Yeah. Not seeing anything. I mean, I would expect it to be in here, but it doesn't look like it is. Metal bottom records. Let's have a look where this has been written. So let's just have a look at all the code, because it feels like it shouldn't be jumping into this unless I pull right, but it seems like it is getting in here. So actually, let's have a look in the debug and see if we actually get into that piece of code. Then if we don't, we know there's something else going on. So play control right 0423. Yeah, they should be, shouldn't they? I mean, I think this is not quite as good a what was it, 0423. I don't think this is quite as good a an emulator as Vice's, to be honest. I mean, obviously it serves a purpose and it does all right at that, but so it should not get to, well, it's that one there, isn't it? That's the one that's writing it, but it is getting in there every single time. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, we push and pop it here, so it should be fine. Okay, let's just keep debugging it. So it's basically saying that at this point here, is this just the stupid controls? Are we better off anding or using bit? Let's use bit, actually. That's probably the easiest way, isn't it? All right, let's find the okay, so this is the value that we need to get. That also means we don't need to push as well, which is going to save us some cycles, so that's probably a good thing then. Okay, so let's do it a step at a time here. Let's get rid of that. So it's saying left is... I don't trust that at all now, because it doesn't seem to be working, so... RP1, let's go and have a look at that. That's going to give me this is the manual again. All right, let's do it through the manual. Controls. This is a problem. I didn't find this easiest thing to look through. IO registers, there we go, 35. What is the actual value of that? FF00. Okay, so is this one? What? Okay. So it's right, left, up, down. Okay. So these are the wrong way around. So I need to load that value on the bit 0. If that is... Oh no, this is left. This looks a bit 1. There we go. A, and if that is 0, jump to the right. Okay, so don't need to do this. Cyclic meter. Yeah, it does make it. That's a much better way of doing it. It's a bit more like how I would do it on C64 as well, actually. So I kind of like that. So down is bit 3. And this is bit 2. I'll soon find out if that works. I mean, it's back to front again. Why does it read back to front? I don't understand that. This is what it did last time. Has it not compiled? Maybe it's not compiled. No, that's compiled. Yeah. Reset the inputs after reading. What? Yeah, I got it. Wait a few cycles. Where are you seeing that? Oh, okay, maybe I can read it. Okay, let's do it like this. So again, how I would do it on... yeah, there's 2 values depending on whether you want to read the buttons or the D-pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load accumulator 1 load accumulator, and then I can use that instead. This is the same way we do it on the C64. Well, I do it on the C64 anyway. Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same, Andy. I'm coding at the same time, so still backwards though. I mean, it's working, but it's just everything's back to the front. Oh, that looked like it went off the screen then. I really don't like the fact that these are back to front. So like doing this actually fixes it. And that's working. You can see with my arrows, that's working properly now. Oh, CT0B. Let's go and have a look at that, because it looks like that value that I'm reading is not actually kind of correct for some reason. It seems to always be pulling. Well, no, it's not, because otherwise it would actually be walking that direction as well. But it seems to be running that section of the loop, section of the code. CT0B is that one here. I'm bit testing, so it really doesn't matter. Oh, wait, is it? Oh, I get it. It pulls it low. It's the same as the C64. So actually, if the value is non-zero, then it's not being pressed. If it goes to 0, then it's being used. So actually, I need to switch these back around again now, which is why it was going. It's why it's in reverse, basically. before what was happening is it was saying both left and right were being pressed at the same time. So then when you press it, it does the opposite basically. Whoops. Yeah, they are flipping it. They're flipping it because it's low high, not the other way. And there we go, and it works properly now. Cool. Okay, so what have I learned from that? So I've learned that I can do this pretty much the same as the C64. I think that's a 2 points. I think that's another 2 points for you there, Andy. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So, what's next at this point? I guess the next thing to do. We'll just keep the animation going for now. I'm not too fussed about that. We can sort out the animation later. I guess the next thing is to add some collision in. Thank you for the follow, SE8 CBI1. Welcome to the stream, dude. Your name reads like a bunch of opcodes, which I like. Yeah, I think we can probably start thinking about adding some collision in here now, or at the very least, well, we can start with the fall. We can make sure that if we can check underneath, if there's nothing underneath, then it falls. Otherwise, it stops. And then from there, we can then add a jump routine into it, and hopefully that will give us the basis of the horizontal movement as well. At that point, we can start adding screen swapping in. And then actually, that's quite a lot of the game. It doesn't seem like a lot now, but that's actually quite a lot of the game mechanics in place. It's only really the switch effect to do after that. I think the Z80 scared them all off. Yeah, it is a bit quiet, isn't it? It's just a wall of Andy's suggestions. I am going to have to go to the toilet though, so I'm going to take my break a little bit early. When I come back, we'll do the collision stuff. All right, I'll be back in about 5 minutes, guys. Be right back. Back. Sit. Cool. So I'm going to stop the screen from functioning now, from switching. I'm just going to comment it out because I'd like to just know what the hell it's doing here. That's our timer. Yeah, so I'd like to keep that code so I can reference it later. But for now, let's just comment it out. That puts us on a single screen, and then we're going to add some new routines in for collision. Oh, it's got to actually draw one screen as well. Absolutely, actually draws at least one screen. So does it see that it needs to load? Can't find out. What are these tabs for? Okay, comment that out as well. Don't need those. Okay, cool. So, we'll start by just trying to draw a character at the top left here, wherever he moves. So we can see if the kind of positioning is correct. So this is our loop here. Where would this go? Player collision could be the right place, but I think we might need a separate file for collision as well. So, oops. And this file is basically just going to contain the routines that we use. They will be called from the player routine. Remember, in the books, it's a nightmare when you switch it to different. You need to invent sprite to sprite collision, yeah. What did I use in Loop? Did I use sprite to sprite? Or did I use... I can't actually remember. I think it's not using hardware collision. I think it's using its own routine. Okay. That's going to be the easiest version ever. What are you doing Lunar on then, Acmefin? Are you doing it on what are you doing it on, out of interest? I mean, I remember you asking about it, but I can't remember what you said you were going to do it on, whether it was Windows or Amiga. You're doing it on Amiga, right? Please say you're doing it on Amiga. And if you're not, why not? Z80. Right, so we'll do player collision here before we actually set the player sprite. So you do the control, then you do the collision, so the collision can handle the response, then you draw the player sprite. Okay. So that is going to be in here. This actually doesn't need to change very much, so I'm just going to move it up a little bit. Thank you for the follow, Cat and Jack. Welcome to the stream booth. Okay, so this is our player collision routine. So in here, what we need to do is we need to... I'm going to do this how I normally do my C64 stuff as well. So I'm going to have a routine called in here called get. Got char position maybe. And this is going to be based on a number that we pass in, which I'm guessing will be in the accumulator. No, not yet. I was still in game conversion mode. I couldn't remember its photo to see. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, interesting. So you're taking the source and converting it to C. Ah. Oh, you should document that process. That sounds like a really interesting process. Anything to see is automatically unoptimized. Well, to be fair, if you do an assembly to C, which should translate fairly well, but you will have to create things that deal with the IO registers. So anything that's kind of VIC related, you're going to have to create something to deal with those changes. So I mean, you are going to have to know C64 obviously to be able to understand what's actually just right into a piece of RAM, or what's going to be exactly. You're gonna have to do some clever stuff. So you're gonna have to look at routines and go, okay, this is a routine that can't be just ported. It has to be rewritten to suit the platform. Well, to suit the kind of cross-platform nature, if anything. Okay, cool. So we're going to call player collision. Player collision is going to call get char position, and this is going to take the position of a sprite, I guess. And that sprite will be the sprite number that we want to check. Now, the reason I want to make this kind of reusable function in a collision class is because we'll need this for the enemies as well, because the enemies, they don't have set paths, they have behaviors like they do in the game that we do on Saturdays. Yeah, just take it a step at a time for now. I'd be very interested to see your end result as well. It'd be kind of cool to see. I guess anytime you write to a register that is a sprite register, you just have a function which deals with setting a color of a sprite or so on and so on. You have no comments. I'm more meant the kind of the process. I think it's an interesting project. Okay, so we're going to pass in the sprite number in the accumulator, and the sprite number is 0. So we'll just start by just getting the position of the sprite, and that's it. We won't have any offsets or anything. Okay, so that means in here I need to put a little note at the top to say A equals sprite number. And that sprite number is going to be this here in the meta sprite data. So the first thing I need to do is I need to multiply that value by 4. And actually I need to load meta OAM. And now I need to multiply A by 4, so that means I need to shift it to the left. God damn it, okay. Shift left. Arithmetic into the carry. I don't really care about the carry, so if there's one that does it without the carry, that'd be good. It doesn't really matter though, to be honest. Shift right, shift. Is it just that? And I guess it doesn't really matter if it goes into the carry. It's not like I'm going to use the carry anyway, so. So shift left accumulate times it by 2, and then keyboard combination every time. Right, that's now times by 4. And then I need to add another. I need to add that to the L register. Can I do that? I bet I can't. Oh, I can. Okay. So I can do add accumulator to L and then load L with the accumulator. Right, so now HL is pointing to the sprite that we're interested in. The Y position of the sprite that we're interested in. So what we want to do is we want to extract the X and Y position and convert them to screen X and Y positions. It would be good if we could actually turn them into actual memory map locations. So if we have a look at the VRAM viewer in here. So if we look at the screen, you can see the positions here as I move around. It tells me the map address here. This is what we want to convert it to. So the top left would be 9C0, then 9C20, 9C40, and so on and so on and so on. So we can actually, it's quite easy to do because all we need to do for the Y position, we need to times it by. Okay, so we need to. Oh, let's write this out. So get Y position, HL to point to X. So the accumulator now contains the sprite Y position, but we need to subtract 8 from that, because if the sprite is then we need to subtract 8 because the top will be 0 and that's at 8. But likewise, we would want that to, if that value is less than 8, so jump if carry is set, then more than 8, which is here. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it 8. So it just caps out at 8, basically. Then that means that if you're less than 8, it will always be 8. So the top row will always be 0, regardless of how far off the screen you are. Now I need to times that value by 32. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to load into. Can I roll a 16-bit register? That'd be really good if I can do that. Shift, okay. Shift the byte. I can't do a 16-bit shift. Okay, that's fine. But I can shift registers. So I'm going to use DE for this. So I'm going to put the value 000 into there. So this is going to be our screen offset. And then I'm going to load the accumulator into that, into the low byte. So now we have a value in here. Wait, have I? Oh, not quite. So I need to. Hang on, is this right? So it would go from 0 to 8, but that should be 0 to 20 instantly. So we need to divide by 8 now. So we subtract 8 from it, and then we divide by 8. So shift right. Flip screen. We'll look at my things again. So let's shift to the left, shift to the right, and it puts a result into the carry, which I don't care about. Okay, so I need to do that 3 times to divide by 8. Right, so now I have a value which will be 0, 1, 2 for each row going down. And then I put that into here. So that now goes from 0 to 0, 1, 4, like that. And then what I need to do is I need to shift this value. And I do need the carry flag here, like this. So I need to shift that and then roll. Is that right? I'll do that. Just check those 2 commands. So shift left, shift logical. No, not left. Sorry. Yeah, left. Sorry. Let's shift right. So this would actually. So I need to not shift right. So SLL. Shift left puts it into the carry, and then I need to roll. That's what I need to do. Roll left, roll left. Rotate. No, rotate. I need the carry to go into bit 0 is what I need. There we go. Rotate, register A, left 3 carry. So it's just R11. So that's times 2, times 4, 8, 16, 32. There we go. So now to row offset. I'm going to check that in the debugger because I don't trust myself. So I need to check for errors, and there's an error at line 5 apparently. Because that's so okay. 24. What? Can't do it on D. Oh, rotate register A. Okay, so actually what I wanted was RLD. Oh god. Commands with different opcodes with different numbers of characters. Why? Music has stopped again. Okay, it seems to be working. So let's find out where the hell that is in code. Collision, get child position 05 DE. Let's go and have a look there. This is where I would spend ages doing this and then find out that there's some hardware way to do this, but I haven't seen any hardware method for this. So okay, there's all our rotates. I'm going to put a break here. So we're looking for DE to kind of be a row number in here. So at this point, actually, it would be, let's have a look. Kind of 0100, I think. Yeah, 0100. If not 0100, then the row behind it looks like 0100 is what we want to see at DE. Okay. That's not what I'm getting, so let's go back to here. Let's put some breaks and everything here. So let's put a break in there and let's step through. What? Okay, so get the Y position of the sprite is not that bit. It's this bit here. HL is pointing to C0A1. C0A0 should be our Y position. So why is it not showing the correct Y position? That's weird. You're on X0 page. Oh, it says the Y position is 0, which is wrong. Oh no, because the first one is the flags. So actually we need to skip to the next one. Okay, so here, before we continue, we need to increase HR and then do it. Okay. Oh, this is definitely not as easy as 6502, but whatever. I think I've got so used to the debugger in C64 as well that it just seems very clunky, this comparison. Although it doesn't crash, that's one nice thing about it. Okay, so if we run that, it should get the positions, which it does. So the position is 50, which was up here. Okay, cool. Which is more than 8, so it should just skip this command here and jump straight to here. which it did not. Okay. Oh, because it's NC, that's carry set. God damn it. All right. I just want to go through the rest of this before I continue. Right, so then load DE with 0, which it does. The accumulator is 0, so it should put that into there, which it does. And then it's going to do some shifting. Oh, that's all correct. All right. All right, let's try it with the new values in, see what we get. God, there's got to be a way to jump to go to program counter. Go to next bookmark. Efficient, because we've got a better way of doing this sort of page up. Okay, that's okay, so here we are again. We're coming to here, and we should see 50, which is not more than 8, which is more than 8, so we should skip the next command, which it does. Subtract 8, which gives us 48. Divide by 8, so this should turn to, what is this at the moment? So this should turn to 9, which it does. Then it should store that in here in DE 09, and then it should times it by 32. So it's going to be C120, I think, or 120 even. Yeah, which it is. Okay. So 120 is pointing to which row here? Pointing to this row. So actually it's kind of a bit lower down for some reason. Okay, we can work that out in a minute. But we've got the correct row now. So the next bit's a bit easier. Points to the row offset. So now we will get the X position. Don't need to increment, so I'm not going to do the increment bit. And we need to do the same thing that we did here. Which is compare it to 8. If it's more than 8, do this, otherwise divide it by 8. And then we should be able to just add that now to, with carry, to E, I think. Let's check our commands. Add with carry A to a register. So add the value in register to accumulator. Set the carry for overflows. Okay, so we need to add what's in here to E. In fact, it's not going to overflow, but I'm going to use it anyway just to be on the safe side. Can we clear the carry bit? Hopefully we can clear the carry bit, because we should clear it before we do that. The carry flag, okay. That's actually quite neat. I like that. That's the first time I've thought that, but it actually looks quite neat. So I'm quite pleased with that. So now DE should contain our actual parity position. Then hopefully I can do something like this. Here's the carry flag. Add to. Oh, wait a minute. I bet I can't do that add to D, can I? No, it's got to be in the accumulate. Okay, so this wasn't as neat as I thought. So that would be. Yeah, this is nowhere near as neat as I thought. Damn it. But then we need to do the same thing, but instead of adding these values, we will load the accumulator. Actually, we don't need to do it on E, we just need to do it on D. Which means we don't have to do that, which means all we do is 9C. So now if I load A with a character, let's pick something in the tarmac, like a letter or something, so tile number 1. Is this going to work? Let's find out. Okay, well it's not quite right, but we've also got 2 other sprites randomly on the screen. It's not right, is it? It's doing weird stuff. It's not drawing down here. It's kind of getting confused in places. I can't fill that gap in there for some reason. And why is it drawing these 2 sprites? So that makes me think that that value at the end here is wrong for DE. Just gonna write value out there and I can find it in the map. Make sure that's compiled as it seems to rearrange the code of its own accord. Because where the hell has it put that code now? Does it fail? It's tiring. Yeah, where has it put it? Oh, we're not referencing that, so it's not using it. Okay, it's useful. So I have to go and find it myself. Oh, and now it's only drawn 1 sprite, but it's still not right because it's not drawing characters over here for some reason. It's also drawing them at. Oh yeah, it's doing something really weird. All right, let's have a look what value it's picking up now. So that is Go for CA roughly. So that's here. Right, so I want to know what D is at this point. So 9C4B. Let's bring up the VRAM viewer. So 9C4B is there. Which, okay. But then I go there and there is no break, so 9dB1. So this is actually. Oh, wait a minute. I get it now. 8 steps. Steps work up to gamble, that's all. Oh no, this should be right. Okay, so maybe I just need to do some flag clearing or something before it. So let's have a look. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure why certain positions don't work. So this position doesn't seem to work. It picks somewhere. Is it 9dB1, which is here for some reason. Right, let's have a look. So get the Y position. Let's stick some breakpoints in. Okay, so the Y position is 3C at this point. And if we have a look in OAM, it is indeed 3C, so that's correct. Is it more than 8? Yes, it is, so skip that. So subtract 8 from it, which should give us 3, 4. Now divide it by 8. Which is 06, okay. And according to the BG map, that looks about right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's a bit lower than it needs to be, but it kind of looks fine. 16-bit registers a little ended. Yeah, I'm stepping through now. For the most part, it seems to work, but and what do you mean the 60? This is the high byte. This is the low byte. And the way I remember that is because it was Richmond Mine that I'm actually HL high low. And it's definitely working that bit because you can see it up here that it's doing exactly what I expect it to do. As you'll see when I come to this bit here. Okay, what was I doing? Yeah, okay, so we've divided it by 8. Now I'm going to put that 8 into DE. So, sorry, 6. Yep. And then we need to keep doubling it. So this would become 0C and roll into D. So this would now become 1, 8, roll into D, and so on. Yeah, roll into D, 6, 0, roll into D, C0, roll into D. Then we're going to load the X position. Yeah. Is it more than 8? No. So yes, so jump to here, subtract 8 from it, and then divide it by 8. Ah! Aha! It's this one here. I need to clear the carry flag before I do these divide by 8, so that's what it is. Because it's subtract could mess around with things. Actually, you should probably do the clear carry before that. Yeah, kind of makes sense actually, because we're shifting. Okay, so let's try that on. Okay, it's still going down there, so let's check. So we're in the place here that's causing problems. It's not as frustrating as it was before. This is, I mean, it's still a little bit frustrating, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the bit shifting here, because it seems to be all right for the most part, and then it seems to fail at this point here. So I'm going to put the breakpoint in here. And see, when I get to here, D is fine. This is a low number. 94 is our X position on the screen, which is correct. Then I need to subtract 8 from it. And then SR, oh, maybe SRA is the wrong one. SRA is the wrong one, because that's a signed shift, I think. It needs to be RRA, I think. No. Oh, SRA, let's have a look. Shift right arithmetic. Yes, so it's an arithmetic shift, which means it keeps the sign. See, the sign stays here as well. So I need to fix that. It needs to be shift right logical. So instead of SRA, it's shift left logical. Which I'm using there as well. So I don't know why I use. I just need to remember. Oh, shift right logical. Okay, so the last letter is whether it's a logical or arithmetic shift. So this is something we don't really deal with much in the C64. In fact, the shift left is arithmetic and the shift right is logical, which is a bit strange, but and again, it's something that's resolved in the Mega 65. But the difference is an arithmetic shift left will keep the sign. So when I halved that value, because it was a negative value, it halved the negative value, not just shifted the bits along. So you have to remember to use the logical shifts if you want to actually shift an unsigned number. So that's my bad for not reading the opcodes very well at all. So hopefully this should work a bit better now. Which it does. Cool. Okay, so the only other problem I can see is that it's not actually getting the top left of the sprite. It seems to be one behind, which would imply that I can get rid of the subtract, but that feels wrong as well for some reason. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at what the subtract does. Maybe it's doing that weird thing that we get with maybe I should be doing this subtract with carry. No, subtract. And the carry flag, okay. Well, let's make that the same. C64. So, well, it's not quite the same. Let's see if that fixes it. I think it's a bit of a misunderstanding. No, it's still not right. You see, I would expect this character here to be colored in. It seems to be out by too much. It's too far down, too far back. So what happens if I go in this top corner up here? What is my actual sprite position? Maybe it's to do with the sprite positions. Okay, so this is saying on that position. Oh, okay. The top is 16, not. Yeah, the screen offset is 816, not 88. So actually, this one needs to be. And the reason for that is because sprites can actually be 8x16 as well, so. That seems more like it. I know it's still. See, it's really weird. I think the carry thing was screwed us up there. So I think subtracting without the carry is the right thing to do here. Yeah, because it could be so. In fact, it will be set by these. It's more. Oh wait, no. I think that's right. CCF not required. It's needed for these though, isn't it? Oh no, because we're not doing. Yeah, I don't think that's needed there. It's not needed there. It was just that shift, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. You gained your point back now. Oh, it's doing strange things though. Sub doesn't need it, but can set it. Yeah, what I'm thinking. Hang on. Right, let's think about this. So at this point here, we have the Y position, where we've subtracted 10 from and divided it by 8. Is the Y position ever wrong? Let's have a look. I mean, it seems off. But it's always round about the same position. It's the X position that's wrong. So let's fix the X first, and then we can work out the shifting of these. So this is the X position. So if NC is not clear, isn't it? I get confused with these freaking terminologies in here. This music's alright. Oh, hang on. NC. CC. Gameboy Z80. Good conditions. Right, we know some of these don't work, but carry flag set, carry flag reset. Jump with carry flag. It's not set. Wait, this. If A is more than A, then that should be. It should be that. I feel like that's gonna just put it over one side. Yeah, this just keeps it there, doesn't it? Okay, so that was correct. Transit by A. Clear carry flag. Oh, is there a request? Hang on. Oh, there's 2 requests. Oh, the Rambo loading music I did. That was Steps from ages ago. Croc and my command out. Okay. I've actually not got Deep Sid on at the moment, so let me load it up. Can you hear that? Ah, it's alright, don't worry about it. Made a request, I will fulfill it. Okay, I don't think that actually needs to happen. Because we actually do it here. And also, I don't think the carry actually matters. Because it's never going to cross a bound. I turned it up a little bit. Is it too quiet still? I don't like to turn it up too much because it does kind of screw with the YouTube output like that. Oh, that seems to be spot on now, actually. Well, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some collision address to collision value. Okay, that's the way. Jump with That didn't work anyway. I was hoping that would kind of delete behind itself, but it's not doing. Oh, because it's got a. No, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so. Oh no, that's fine. Problem is, I didn't do this. Actually, this should be where it be the context is because address plus 0. Let's do all the sound effects now. I'm still not deleting behind it. I thought it was going to delete behind itself. It's not doing it. Okay, so that bit was right. B with first bit of this. Let's see with that. A with that value. Store that. That location. Right. Then take the contents of D. Then you can store that collision value. Put 1 out D. Take D. Oh, maybe there's must be an error in the code. Yeah. Destination upper arm must be A. 60. Seriously? Shit. That's just terrible. God damn it. And I better have to do it at the bottom as well. 70. Oh my god. Z80, you are a shit language. No wonder you need so many commands. Well, why do you need so many commands? Not if you could only do things with the accumulator. Okay, I mean it's not exactly right, but that's not right at all. But at least it's moving with me now. It still seems off by a little bit, and it's not drawing properly behind it, so well, whatever piece of shit version of Z80 it is, still shit. I think it might crash if I do this. Still failing me. Okay, well, the whole point of that was to try and make it a bit easier to see where the character was drawn, and it was not supposed to. Actually, if I just put, if I just do that, then it's just going to clear behind it, maybe. No, it's still putting that weird dot up there. I don't know why it's doing that. But that A does seem to be roughly in the right place. Yeah, that's kind of in the right place, I think. So, with that in mind, we need to apply a few more details to it. So if you look at the sprite here, with the walking sprite, there's a couple of characters on it, a couple of pixels on each side. So I'm going to also supply an X and a Y offset to this as well. So we'll supply that in BC. Which means at this point here, we also need to subtract the contents of B. No, city, sorry. Does that actually exist as a command? Please tell me it does. Subtract accumulator, the value in register A. Okay, cool. So we can do that. We can do that. So that means in here we can do. So that value is. Yeah, I'll run it on the device in a minute actually, just to give it a test. It's worth checking it out just to make sure it's all good. I am going to go past half world. I'm going to do a little bit more because progress has been a bit slow. So it's just charged up. Seems to be on red, so I don't know where my charge is for it. Oh, I think we're done on. Yeah, we're on something completely different now. I'm going to go back to the cache music and just drop the volume a little bit. There we go. The swearing, was I swearing a lot? It doesn't surprise me. I do get really angry with it. So we're going to just add 3 pixels to the position, and hopefully this should bring the character in a little bit. So this is the XY position. It's actually, I subtracted too much now. Well, maybe it's. Well, what happens if I put? Let me put like 10 in. And that'll tell me if it's correct, but I might be going the other way around. Oh, that's not done anything. That means syntax error 75. God damn you. Yeah, the plugin for Sublime was better at the time, so I just stuck with it, to be honest. It just feels a bit weird to go back to it now, so Vision 75. Oh, okay. Somehow I deleted that there. Oh, headphones going. He never reads chat, and then he does. I do read chat. I'm trying to do a better job of that. I feel like that's too offset. I think it needs to be added to that value, not subtracted. So let's do this. That's all those windows. Yeah, it is strange. Yeah. Well, the thing is at the time I was using Sublime at work as well, so Visual Studio Code wasn't as good when I started doing it. It's only in the past 2 or 3 years that it's become, so I'd say 2 years actually, that it's become as good as it has. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Notice that character is always just like, I'm on that character almost all the time now. Same result. Okay, I think that is right now. So, because what I wanted the top left corner of the sprite to be within the bounds of this character. It seems to be at all times within the bounds of that character. So I think that's working now. Although there it's not. It's kind of seems to have some problems in some places. Like there, it should not be on top of his head there. It should still be over here. And I'm not sure if that's... Wait, what am I actually checking against? Yeah, I'm checking against... I'm checking against his head. For a start, I should probably be checking against his body. Kind of down. Side, which is about 4 pixels. So I'm actually going to make it 5 on each side to make it nice and even. And that should hopefully create a nice feel to it. Yeah, Visual Studio Code is definitely the way to go. If you can use it for the language you want to use, I definitely recommend it. It's like all IDEs, you know, they all evolve over time, and some kind of just lose their way, and then others kind of take over. VS Code for me is the one that's kind of at the forefront at the moment. They're still going too far forward sometimes. I'm not setting the seat anywhere else, no. Good. No, that's hand add for it. Yeah, okay. I think it's probably right, so if I judge by the body, that's what I've got to think about. It's the body, the bottom. But still, head at the top is holds it. Head at the top is never outside the character. And the body is trying to find a weird position where it clicked down straight logo. So actually, no, that body is still within as well. All right, yeah, I think that's correct. Right, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to use this, what I think is probably a terrible collision system there, to hopefully detect whether we're stood on something or not. So this is just detecting at the moment. Well, actually, it's not even detecting. It's just drawing a character in that position. So what we'll be able to do is change the offset to under the feet here. We'll see as we walk around. Does it look like it's always is his feet always within one of these areas? And then we can use that to actually make him fall if the character is incorrect or not. So we'll just check. We'll do a simple check for now. We'll check like if it's non-zero. I think our VRAM. We don't have any collision tables yet, but we do have blank character 0, which I think is what's being used on here. Let me check. Tile number 0, yeah. So wherever there's a 0, we'll see that as blank. I mean, there are these things on the walls and these. But for now, we'll just accept that we can collide into them and change that later. I just want to make him fall. That's what I want to do. And if I've got time to make him jump as well. All right, I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes, guys. Go about. But good night, cheers. Good work on Luma as well. It's getting hard now. Right, so just going to run this again, but I'm going to change the offset to be on the floor and halfway across the sprite, so exactly middle sprite this time. We'll check 2 positions for the full routine, but just for testing, we'll do this for now. That seems to be right. The middle of them is always roughly in that character, so that's good. Cool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll have char position return in DE, I think. So we can get rid of all this crap. We don't need this anymore. We don't need to store anything here. We have the value returned in DE, which is exactly what we want. Jump non-zero, skip. Otherwise, we're going to increment player Y. Okay, we've got an error because it's doing the same as it was before. Player 90. So just that. Oh, come on, this is so stupid. Let me just check. Increment. Yeah, so I can only increment that's pointed to by HL, so maybe no, because HL is not. So I can do this instead. So ridiculous. So I have to use a whole 16-bit register to do this, or I have to transfer it to the accumulator increment and then transfer it back. Stupid. Stupid language. Okay, it's not falling now. Why is he not falling? It's always coming to here. So let's stick a breakpoint in there and see what's going on. Let's 7F, okay. Choose here, cause this, and then this will tell us what's in DE, hopefully. Okay, so D is 94A, so let's just check that on the VRAM viewer, which is around about here somewhere. And that is indeed tile 0, so the accumulator should go to 0 when I press F3, which it does. Jump with non-zero O38E. Oh, God's sake. Look, it's just... I just need to get used to it. That's what it is. I'm so angry because I don't do enough of it, I think. But yeah, I am Mr. Grumpy. I'm quite tired as well. There we go. Okay, cool. and I can kind of push against it, and it will come to here. Okay, cool. The collision seems to be correct now. I've been spoiled by Python, I'm really not. Yes. I mean, it seems like it falls faster in some places than others, but whatever. Okay, so we know that works. So what we can do now is thank you for the follow, Fish Kung Fu. So for now, we're just going to have this routine. Return whether or not it's 0. And if it is, it's going to set the carry flag. Thank you for the follow, YW Taz as well. Welcome to the stream, dude. So we'll set the carry flag if... no, we'll clear the carry flag, sorry, if there is nothing. We'll set the carry flag if there is something as well. And this will change to, instead of just comparing against 0, what we'll do is we'll look this up in a collision table, which I might implement in a minute, at least at a very basic level. It can go in here, it's fine, it doesn't really matter where it goes. It'd be good if it was something I could export from my tool though, so maybe I'll update the tool to do that before the next stream, or I might even do it on the next stream as well. So if the carry is set on the floor, oh, hang on, I'll call it done for because that kind of makes more sense, I think. So now what I can do is I can check 2 sides of it. So if I check this side here, and then do the same again to check the right hand side. Otherwise, oh, I've got to do that thing again. Okay, I shall Y. Okay, so this should now check 2 positions on the bottom of the character. Which means you can hang off the edge of things, both on the left and on the right, hopefully, if this has worked. Well, it's not, because we're just floating in the air now. So if the carry is set, don't do anything. Sharp collision loads the cumulative. If it's 0, it's clear. Should have just cleared to done 4. Otherwise, do this. Let's just do 1, see what happens. So this was the original piece of code. Oh, it's not working with the original, no? Have I got this the wrong way around? So carry flag, set carry flag. That is right, isn't it? I need to check those now. Set carry flag, yeah, carry flag. Okay, right, so load the cumulative with whatever's in B. Compare the cumulative with 0. It's non-zero, set the carry flag. So if the carry flag is set on something solid, otherwise we're not, and we clear the carry flag. Okay. But just make sure that the actual fall is working. Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm going to have to put some of a breakpoint on here. Yeah, it's just falling all the time, right? So if I get rid of that, I'll just put that here instead. Change that to number 4. Get rid of those. Does that work? Because that seems to be what I'm doing. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Why does that work here? It doesn't work in here. Are the carries, are the flags restored or something? I don't think we can use flags as returns. Let's have a look. I think when you return, it actually it sets the resets all the flags as well. Oh, what's this? Flags not affected. Okay. Return from subroutine if condition CC is met. So this would be. So we clear the carry flag here. So below that. That's not going to work because I've not actually restored it here. So. What? Yeah, I read that as well. What? Should be that actually. So if it's 0, return. Okay. There we go. Right. So, yeah. Oh my god, it's so slow going up now. Oh, because it's only got 1 in at the moment. Okay, so change that back to 4. Don't need the set. Why don't I need the set? Oh, because the carry flag will be set if it's more than 0. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Okay. Extra points for you there. Damn, we do need to get these points put in place. I mean, I don't know what you will get for them. Don't know how you can... Oh. No. No. I think we do need the set. I mean, I agree it should be set, but for some reason... the set's needed. No. Doesn't make any sense to me why that would be the case. Is it going the other way round? Subtract 0. Oh, it is, yeah. It's kind of the reverse of what you see on the C64, so you're not subtracting A from 0, you're subtracting 0 from A. So you do need to say it, because it will always be clear at this point. But I like your thinking. You can keep one of the bonus points. Okay, so that's good. It's on the edge. It's on the edge. And it's off the edge. Cool, that's kind of what I want. That's good. Okay, right, so next thing we're going to have state. So oops. Keep those down there. I need to kind of put some comments around this and put it into if 0. The thing is that actually it really doesn't matter, because this comparison is going to change anyway. At the moment we're just comparing against 0, but this will be comparing against the table anyway. If you return if 0, if you don't return it can't be 0. Returns if 0 with the carry flag clear. If it's non-0, then the result of this will have cleared the carry flag anyway, because we're comparing against 0. If I'd compared against a higher value, then it would all be set, but yeah, it's just stupid Gameboy. Okay, so got state jump, state fall. Actually, do we need state fall? Okay, so in the player initialization, which we have here, which I'm actually going to move up to the top because it's in a weird place. We're also going to set. Oh, it's already set in the attribute, so I'm going to do it again because we might need different values here. So, but these will be reset, which is the. player state. And then in player control, so okay, so in the collision we need to set whether we're falling or not. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is load the accumulator with player state. And we're gonna bit. Oh, I can't do it like that, can I? Sorry, I'll just hand it up. It's fine. I like the way this is done. So if we're jumping, we can't be falling. So jump if non-zero, fall. Just be here. Actually. Okay. If we are falling, then we need a fall table. So player fall table. Okay, so this will be something along the lines of it needs to be the same in reverse for the jump. So actually I can copy this from doc. So save that. Where is it going to be now? It's going to be in tables. Oh, good question. I want to put these. It's falling. Oh god, ladders. Ladders are going to be an absolute big nightmare. Fall table. Here we go. Oh, the fall table and jump table are different. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Fit it on the screen. Right, so if we are falling, which is this bit, the first thing we need to do is check that we have already set the state or not. So if we are, then we're already falling. So if that's non-zero, then we're already falling. Otherwise, what we need to do is we need to all accumulate with state fall. Let's turn it on, and then still that player state. Actually, here we need to actually change this to fall. A No, because we're jumping, we're already doing that, so actually this is fine. Instead, what we need to do such a mix of pace of her, it's kind of annoying. And then in no fall to actually do this. Just copy on that. So you just have to make sure we turn the fall off when we're finished. If we are falling, or as well as setting the state, we also need to reset the jump table as well. Okay, then if we are falling, we need to okay, we'll do this like this. We will load HR with player fall table. Then we will add more accumulator with the bytes and player fall index. You put these tables in my... Yeah, I didn't read that this time. Yes, it is where they belong. They're not going to change, so it's fine. If I put them in RAM, I'd have to write them at runtime, which would be a nightmare. Okay, so play fall table, load the accumulator with jump fall index. Then I need to add... Oh, add HL. Oh no, that's not going to work, is it? Because I need to actually add... add the value in R8 to the accumulator. Okay, so it would be add AL, which would set the carry flag, but then load that back in there, and then I can accumulate 0, add with carry, go to H. Okay, so that gives me jump index table, so I can load A with the contents of HL. Indexing is shit on this system. That's so bad. I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing this. I could probably do it if I aligned the tables, because then I would only have to add to the lower value, but I'm not going to align every single table. That's a massive waste of memory. And plus, I don't even know how to align properly in this, so do without. Okay, so now I have the amount that I need to jump in accumulator, so I can load HL with player Y, sorry, the amount I need to fall. And I can add the contents of HL and load player Y with the accumulator. Right, so I've now added the value in the fall table. So now I need to increment the player jump fall index. So load HL with player jump fall index. Actually, I might as well do it this way because I kind of need to increment A, compare A to player jump fall index, player jump fall table. play a full table. Don't think you can easily. A line, yeah, I don't think you can either. Music stopped. Where's the music stopped? Oh, it's playing orchestral music. Street Fighter 2 medley. Fair enough. If the carry is not set, and I think this is going to be the wrong way around, so I'm going to have to check this. Skip. What would you call that? Skip. Limit. In which case we just decrement A. Put player jump fall index into there. So now we will increase in speed until we hit the limit. I think we might need to slow this down though, so moves too quickly, that's for sure. It needs to slow down. Let's see if that player jump fall index is actually updated, because I don't trust it. Player jump fall index is... Oh, it doesn't look like it's compiling. Shocker. Player 12. 12? It's all the way up here. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, it's working, but we're not falling, which means player jump fall index is not being added correctly. Alright, I'm going to get this bit working, and I think I'm going to call it a night. It's been a long, painful, grumpy stream. Okay, so if I am falling, then I'm going to come into this chunk of code here, and if I'm not falling, I'm going to come into this chunk of code. No fall, no fall. So first of all, I'm just going to check that this is actually working. So I'm just going to put this in here just to make sure the conditions are working. Like that. I really need to fix this batch file. Okay, the conditions aren't working or something. So it's this bit. Let's get rid of that. So it's this bit. Oh. Jump with non-zero, because if we're jumping then it's non-zero. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's increment a little bit more at a time. I'll actually just stick all of these so it works, right? It's weird how it was actually working. Oh, it was working because the code hadn't compiled properly, that's why. Doesn't look like it's speeding up though, so let's go and check that jump fall index at C20C. This one here. Yeah, the player jump fall index is not changing. Okay. So that is okay. So this needs to add current fall value. I feel like this needs to be a 16-bit value as well, but we'll see how that works in a minute. It's just going to make it even more bloody confusing, isn't it? So increment for redux, and I think that's probably because that's the other way around, same as we were seeing before. Just got to remember that the carry flags are kind of reversed when you do the comparisons, because these are kind of reversed. I think that's probably what it is. Yeah, so I think it's working now because we're only seeing, in fact it's definitely working because it's going through the ground a little bit. So I can go up on things like this. Okay. It's falling a bit fast now. So there's two ways I can do this. I can do this with 16-bit values, or I can just half the update rate of this, of the fall routine. Well, let's see what it looks like with half an update rate for it. And if that is, because I'd like to take the easiest solutions here, and I didn't use 16-bit values on the original dock, so okay, do I have anything that's doing this already? I have a frame timer. Is that the one? Looks like the one. I am going to change this though. So now I know I can do that. That's just a bit neater. Oh no, that's broken everything, wasn't it? Okay, that doesn't work. Oh, because yeah. Oh, interesting. That seems to have changed the. That seems to have changed something. Okay, put it back. Put it back. It was working. God, I wish I knew what was going on in this. I don't know. It seems different. What the hell? I didn't change anything. Thank you for following to new experiences, and welcome to what hopefully is a new experience for you. Certainly is for me. I don't know what's going on here at all. I think I'm going to call it a night soon anyway. I understand why Because, like, why is it only sometimes? Well, it's definitely walking too fast. I think actually that the speed of everything can be halved, so I'm going to half the rate at which the player control updates. And the player collision updates. So these are going to just be called every other frame. So I'm going to do that with the frame timer. Just going to have a look at the shower animations. I think they have this timer thing going. Yeah, they do. Okay, so they use this technique. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start with the player control because I want to slow it down. This is a bit too fast. So I'm going to do it in here. Right, so that should, in theory, slow the control down a little bit. I'm sure the control updates will actually be every other frame instead of every frame. It should make it feel a bit more. That's better. That speed's much better. Okay, the player collision is happening all the time. But interestingly, okay, so yeah, I need to do the same in. So copy this piece of code. We'll do the same in player collision. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Because we only want to actually do anything related to control or collision every other frame. And then we're running not the same as the frame rate because it seems like the frame rate's quite high. And then I'll give this a quick try on the device. I mean, it's still dropping really quickly. And we'll do some snapping here as well. So part of the collision is are we falling? No, we're not falling. No fall, so we come to here. So the other thing we need to do is load HL with player Y, or actually load accumulator with the contents of player Y. Ugh. Andy Go, he's a good mod, isn't he, Andy? Typing away there. And I think it is as simple as just anding this value, the accumulator, with 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, and then putting it back. I think that's all I need to do. Hopefully it's all I need to do, otherwise I might need to add a little number to it first and then take it away afterwards. Okay, so there's whoa. What is going on here then? Maybe no fall is being called sometimes when it shouldn't be. Oh wait, if we are falling, we do need to fall here. So this is because this should be. Oh no, hang on. I said I thought no, that's correct. Let's just get rid of this for a second. Something a little bit weird going on. Everyone here was a haze mod. Okay, well it's snapping to the ground nicely now. But there's some other weirdities going on that I don't quite understand. Firstly, it should only be doing this of the other frame, and it seems to be... Well, actually, no, because it seems fine left and right. There's something about the up and down that's not quite right. So when I push up, what happens? Well, at the moment, it's just increasing a value and decreasing a value, which is kind of correct for now. This routine should be checking the speed that I fall at. Well, maybe it's not resetting jump falling dots. I mean, it's allowing me to keep going up at quite a rate. I guess because the update's only happening every other frame. Am I missing something else? Is something causing it to take too long, maybe? Because it seems to be really random how it's behaving. The left and right looks perfect. And actually, the speed when it falls normally seems alright. It's just it's doing strange things. I'm going to try a debug thing here now, so I cannot remember the value to put. So I'm going to put 20 in, and I'm going to store that at R_X. There we go. And then when it's finished, I'm going to put 0 in as well. So this is going to kind of warp the screen a little bit, but hopefully I should see how much it's using. Okay, so there's still a good portion of the screen unused. It seems to be taking, I mean, it's taking quite a bit, but that's doing char animation, player control, set sprites, and build sprites. So it's actually doing quite a large chunk of stuff here. And if we alternate, so if we did this player control and player collision on one frame, and then enemy control and enemy collision on the other frame, that's actually going to take about the same. So that's actually not too bad. I'm quite pleased with that. It's not taking more than a frame anyway. So. Thank you for the follow, Jet Madeira. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going to put it on 2 just to see. Oh, Joe Madeira. Welcome to the stream anyway, dude. Yeah, see, it's never getting down to this half, so we're only using about half of the screen so far, and I'm sure this can be optimized. And actually, it looks like it's sometimes it's here, sometimes it's here. So I think it's more like a third or a quarter of the screen. Okay, put them in comments because that's kind of a good little test. I might call it a night here, actually, guys. So, I mean, we do have some stuff to think about for the jump routine. I'd love to know exactly what's going on in that jump routine, but unfortunately, I don't. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can raid. It's getting late. I do have work in the morning. My raids says that Chiz is still streaming, which I know for a fact he's not. So there we go. Mr. Colar's streaming, so let's go and see Mr. Cola. I'm not sure what he's playing there. Could be a Game Boy game. Not sure. Oh no, PlayStation. It looks like. Cool. All right, we'll go and raid him. Okay, I will see you guys on Thursday, hopefully. Although, to be honest, if I feel as tired as I did today, I'm probably not going to stream on Thursday. But I don't know. I'd like to. I'd like to do something. Maybe I'll have the Jaguar by then. Maybe I'll just play a game. Okay, cool. Let me just bring up my Twitch so I can actually jump straight into the chat of Colas and not do what I normally do, which is end up somewhere else. And I shall see you guys on Tuesday. Right. Cheers, guys, and see you next time. Cheerio.